lucky right now to have a one-of-a-kind guest with me. It's Mr. Justin Colby. Hi, Justin.
What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm great. So, Justin, let's hit the subject right away. I've done a little bit of research on you, and I had the chance also to talk to you at the event that we met,
Yeah,
and I saw that you had a degree in UCLA.
I
Been an
did.
entrepreneur pretty much since 2006. And I also saw that you have a really great podcast that I was listening to also, and which is really really educating to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And right away, one of my question would be like, because a lot of people told me this, like if you give away all that education like this, how do you feel about like competition? And aren't you forming your own competition while doing this? What do you think about this?
I don't view it that way. I think, very specifically here in Phoenix market, there's 5 million, it's a population of 5 million, right? And so um, I'm doing 10 deals a month, 12 deals a month, 15 deals a month, and there's thousands of transactions done every single month. So I'm not even scratching the surface on how many deals I actually can do. And even if you're in a small market, the reality is those people are going to quit before you. Right. And so it's just a matter of understanding that this isn't a competition. There's more than enough out there for absolutely everybody. It's just about, are you going to be the person that continues to have fortitude and endurance when the going gets tough, right? When people want to use the excuse, my market has too much competition. Well, are you that person that's going to use the excuse, or are you the person to say, there's more than enough opportunity for me, I just need to go find it?
Awesome. Yeah, totally agree with you. I'm totally about collaboration instead of competition.
Absolutely, 100%.
And let me ask you this question: since you went to UCLA, obviously you were in Los Angeles. What
Yep.
made you choose Phoenix market?
Well, so I started in '07, and that was right when everything was in turmoil. And so
Yeah.
I lived in California. Well, the California prices were incredibly high.
Yeah.
And at the time, Phoenix started selling at like 50% of what it was a year ago. And then all of a sudden, 25%. Like, the barrier of entry to get into your first flip or wholesale deal here in Phoenix was so much lower than the state of California. And so it was a no-brainer for me, on top of which one of my best friends and business partners was here. So he was already living here. He was like, dude, why don't you just move out to Phoenix? Let's do this in Phoenix, not back in California. It just made sense, right? I had no real commitment or attachment to California. The barrier of entry was way lower here in Phoenix. And so between those two, it was done deal.
Makes sense. Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
And can you tell me a little bit about like how did you start? What was your first deal?
Yeah. So it took me 9 months to get my first deal. So for all of those out there that are struggling to get their first check, their first deal, trust me when I tell you, I did this business full time. I had no other job. This was my only business. It still took me 9 months. I was college educated. I was young. I was youthful, but it was by brute force. And what I mean by that is, looking back on it, I was doing what still works for me today, which was cold calling. I was cold calling realtors because at the time I didn't have a mentor. I had no mastermind. I had no one advising me. So all I knew was, well, realtors have properties. Why not call realtors? I didn't know to go direct to seller at the time. And so I would make 100 calls a day to realtors every single day, tell them what I'm looking for, tell them how that we could work together, tell them how it benefits them, what's in it for them, and hopefully they would bring me a deal. And so 9 months later, we got our first deal under contract and flipped within 48 hours, and we were using transactional funding at the time, and made all of $7,000 in 9 months. And like I said, I had a business partner, so we split the 7,000. Well, that's not a whole lot of money, right?
No.
And so that's how it happened. And then a month later, we got a second deal, which tends to happen once you can get your first deal. That momentum, that confidence, that energy tends to roll. So the best time to go get your second deal is right after your first deal. Don't take your foot off the gas, press harder, because you have the confidence, you have the momentum, you have that energy moving in the right direction. That's the best time to do it. So from there, made another $7. So in our first, or 7,000, made all of $14,000 in our first year. Now, mind you, I had no other income, neither did my business partner. So we were still very, very, very poor, to say the
Yeah.
least. I was sleeping on the couch. But after that, we were able to get 6 deals done. We invested in coaching. I'm a big, big, big believer investing in education. I still join masterminds. I run 3 masterminds. I still hire coaches. I still have, a lot of mentors in my life that I still tap on as resources. And so that was our first taste of that back in year number 2. Since, we did 6 deals, made a little bit more money, and then realized we needed a little something different beyond that.
Awesome. So you talk a lot about education and mastermind, and I want to tap into that because I think it's really interesting. And you do host a mastermind, which I actually am going in Dallas.
Awesome.
We're probably going to meet. So,
Yeah. Love to
like,
see you there.
I want to know, like, what did it change for you, like having a mastermind and like mentors and all that? Would you say that would you pay to have a mentor if you can't find any mentor around you that are
100%.
doing, yeah?
So here's the difference, right? A business owner or entrepreneur looks at it as an investment.
Yeah.
A employee looks at it as a cost, right? So a normal Joe might say, this is a cost. I can't afford it. Myself, yourself, entrepreneurs, investors, and I'll keep it a little more general, entrepreneurs, because there's more than just investors. That is an investment in yourself, just like you invest in marketing. Same idea, right? And so if you don't view it that way, you need to change how you think, because that's really what it is. Why wouldn't you want to be around people that have been doing it longer, have been doing it longer, so they can help you avoid those mistakes? I mean, that's a
Yeah.
lot of what I do with my private clients. I take on private clients as an advisor or a coach. And a lot of it is, I've just been doing it almost 12 years now. They've been doing it, not even 12 days, right? Or whatever it may be. So
Yeah.
I can help them avoid the pitfalls, right? And one of them being marketing, right? Where to spend your money, how to spend your money, what avenue, what strategy. So I try to guide that. But I still reinvest a lot of money every single year into my own masterminds. I join, into coaching that I hire. I'm still a massive believer in that.
So still up to this point, you still invest in mastermind coaching.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. And like, at what point would you say that you start having a team around you? Because you probably plateau at a certain point and you said like, okay, if I want to grow up, I need other people around me.
Yeah. So for us, we probably did it slower than I would help advise. I think it was year 6. We started hiring and bringing people into our world. And it wasn't even that we wanted or tried to do it. It was actually someone wanted to do it with us. Hey, I want to work for you guys. And we were like, oh, okay. And that's how it happened, right? So it wasn't like we had this great idea. It was more someone came to us. And so because of that, we've had a team ever since and still have a team today. And now we're in Phoenix and San Antonio. And so it's great.
Great. So it kind of
Hiring,
happened
let me
by
talk quickly
accident.
I want to say something about hiring.
All right.
I think people listen to myself or my business partner, Sean Terry, Kent Clothier, and they talk about scaling a business and growing a business and hiring. And I'll be honest, there is a caveat to that. You need to be making enough money to do that. A lot of people want to do it after they get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or even 20 deals done. Oh, I want to start hiring. Understand, with hiring and building a team, you're taking your eye off what's already making you money, which is the acquisition, right? And so
Yeah.
I'm very cognizant of, and I put a dollar amount on it. I say no one in my world should hire unless that person, specifically that person, that entrepreneur, that business owner is putting 250 grand in their pocket. I'm taking it home with me in my bank account, not doing top line revenue, subtract marketing, subtract JV deals. I'm saying 250 grand in your pocket. Now you can hire, right? Because now you're busy. You're kind of at that threshold of a lot of deals are going, big deals are going. But that's my threshold that I just arbitrarily made up. I just feel like at that point, you can make a couple mistakes and rebound financially where you're not going to drag yourself down some hole of, oh no, I made a mistake and now I have 3 months without getting deals.
Yeah. And like, what position would you say would be like your first
My
hire?
first hire every time is like an admin assistant, personal assistant,
Yeah.
executive assistant, whatever you want to say. Someone who can handle the monotony of the day to day. When I first hired, and
Yeah.
she's still with me today, She was more of just a straight personal assistant. Now she's already graduated, not already, but she's now graduated to marketing coordinator. She handles all my marketing. I mean, she's really been with me. She does a lot for me. She does everything for me. She has access to all my social media accounts, my calendar, you name it. She has access to it, right? And I rely on her. I mean, she runs my life basically. And so my point to that being is, when you first hire, I want someone that's going to handle maybe paying bills. Like if you're a rehabber and you're listening to this, turning on and off utilities, paying the utility bills. I mean, there was times where when we first hired her, we had nothing for her to do. So we were just like, hey, can you pay this bill? Can you get us lunch? Can we, we just made stuff up. But when you're already in business, that person's going to be handling transactional coordinating, maybe handling some of your marketing, handling things like picking up lunch for you, things like, being the gateway to you. So she screens all your emails, she screens the calls, all of that stuff, because those are the things that don't necessarily make you money. You need to be focused on things that make you money.
I see. Great. Well, what do you think would be like your biggest failure, like growing up? Because you said you've done a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, I think of two, and both times we did it for the payday. So we went after deals, one a development, another was a big rehab flip. And they were both financial failures, but there were massive learning lessons, right? And that's what I'm able to take away from that is, this is an education of hard knocks. I paid more for the education than I ever have for a mentor or a coach or a mastermind. And that's the reason why I still believe in that so much is because if I would have had someone to help guide me, and by the way, when I made those mistakes, I did have people I could call. I just thought I knew better. And that's what so often is the case, right? And so it was a development deal. The first one was a development deal. The second one was a big rehab flip. Both were financial disasters. Not only did I lose money, private lenders lost money, it was just bad. And the reason we went down those paths, which I'm a very straightforward wholesaler, single family homes, townhome condos, straightforward. I've done 350 rehabs, but they were all basic kind of cookie cutter homes. There wasn't any extensive, crazy $100,000 plus rehabs. I mean, it was just so every time I've gone out to chase the money because I saw, there's a $250,000, profit in this rehab. Let's go do it. Or, there's $8 million profit in this development. Let's go do it. I got taken away from what I actually am really good at, which is finding the deal, creating the deal, and making those $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 pops, a lot of them, right? And so it's always chasing the money. It's always getting, I don't want to say outside your comfort zone because that's really important to do as an entrepreneur is you got to maintain outside your comfort zone. But it was definitely shiny object syndrome, right? I was presented opportunities because when you become more and more successful, people are going to give you more and more opportunity. So I got those opportunities and I started picking ones that didn't fit my strength. And when that happens, you can make some mistakes.
I see. So would you say that your biggest strength would be like the mom and pop house that would you make like 20, 25,000?
Totally. Cookie cutter, normal, buy from $50,000 to 250, 300 grand. They usually are going to take, $30,000 to $50,000 in rehab max. You're going to have a great young couple buy it, or you're going to have someone, a rental property, it's just an easy rehab and or buy and hold opportunity for the right investor. And so those are my strength, right? And so I've rehabbed 350 of those types. I actually started in the business backwards. I teach people to start wholesaling, but I started rehabbing first. I just had some buddies and whatnot that had some money. I had the ability to use that money for rehabbing. Obviously HGTV was starting up, so it was more sexy. But I'll tell you now, if I can avoid rehabbing, I'm going to avoid it at all costs.
It's kind of like the mistake of so much beginner, they, like you said, they see like the TV shows and all that stuff and it looks like really sexy. So they all want to do rehab.
100%.
Yeah. And were you doing the work yourself or were you hiring?
No. I was hiring it.
Yeah. Okay.
Which then, lessens your profit margin. But dude, I don't, I'm not going to go do the work. That was never my trade, right? I went to UCLA. I was an English major. I was never a contractor in construction, which I have massive respect for.
Yeah.
But it limits our profit margin, right? When we're rehabbing, because I got to pay them an extra 10% on the rehab.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is.
Yeah. And what do you think about, like you said, you're now in San Antonio market. What do you think about remote wholesaling or like
Virtual wholesaling?
yeah, virtual
Yeah.
wholesaling, investing in a different market?
So here's the thing. I love it, but a lot of people want to go to a different market for the wrong reasons. Okay. So they're answering the wrong thing. I have a
Yeah.
friend, Joe McCall. He's awesome at virtual wholesaling. And I have other friends, I have clients, personal clients of mine that live in Canada and wholesale in Austin. So I know it. I taught them how to do. I mean, it's awesome. We're doing it in San Antonio, but a lot of people do it for the wrong reasons. Being my Canadian clients are doing it because they can't. Their market's different. You can't pull lists in their market. Like privacy is a major thing. They can't market the same way we
Exactly.
can here. So now that's why they're doing it virtually.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do it because they have too much competition. Their market is different and all these other BS excuses that they want to make up. Right. And there are such minimal amount of markets that are that small, right? Where there's a population of 100. That's so rare. I'm speaking to the normal person that lives in any of the major cities from, San Antonio, every major city in Texas, California, New York, Miami, that's more common. That's what I'm talking to. Don't do it because you think there's too much competition. The reality is if you look at the numbers and look at the transactions and how many were transacted, and then you go find all of the cash buyers, cash transactions, I bet you're not even 1% of all of the cash investor transactions that are out there. You're doing it for the wrong reason. So I love it. I think it takes a skill. It takes a certain ability to do everything over the phone, build a report over the phone, but also kind of build a virtual team of sorts. It takes trust, right? Because you're going to trust someone to help you out with these deals. And it takes a set of management skills that most people don't have, because you have to hyper manage your leads, manage anyone that you may not have on the street, have a set of follow-up skills and cold calling skills that you have to follow up with these leads when they come in, right? So it's a beautiful model. I don't know if it's ever, well, it just depends on how you want to build it, right? I love it. I just don't want you to do it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. So, and the wrong reason, like you said, would be like assuming that there's too much competition or
Totally.
assuming that your market is not that good, which actually it's not that true because every market could be good.
Yep.
But what about those, like you said, the Canadian client that are with you, like, because might be a lot of Canadian looking at this.
Yeah.
Because I'm in Montreal, so
yeah.
And like, what would you recommend, like, about choosing the right market or choosing a market for them? Like, what would be the criteria for them?
I would want to see the cash transactions, right? How many cash transactions happen? You can find that in MLS. You can find it in Kent Clothier's Find Cash Buyers Now. You can ask your agents to pull that list for you. You can ask title companies, escrow companies. I would look at the cash transactions, and then I would also look at the up and coming, cities, meaning, do they have sports teams? Are there things people want to go live and be there for? What are the economic and social influences of that area? The middle America is opening up a lot of manufacturer plants, right? Where they're making cars, like BMW opened one in North Carolina or South Carolina. Mercedes is going to open one. Toyota's going to, like, those middle American cities can be huge because there's going to be a lot of jobs. So people got to live there. So you want to look at those things, but really you just want to look at the volume of transactions because it's all a marketing play anyways. So yeah, that's what you want to look at.
Great. So volume of transaction, good. And like, let's transcend to like the mindset and the personal growth all around this, because any business like you have to grow. And I've been listening to like all these podcasts and everything. They say, hey, you have to, grow up, just be, do something bigger than yourself and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think, like, I've made a difference for you, like compared to like every other wholesaler, flipper, or whatever that didn't succeed or didn't
Yeah.
not there anymore?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm a big reader. I have a bookcase here. And then as I travel now, I do Audible more just because it's hard for me to read on planes. I tend to get nauseous. So I'm doing more and more Audible, which is great. So I try to keep my ability to learn and have a good mindset going at all times, right? I also find time for myself. I think one thing people don't do is they focus on themselves. You do have to fill your tank. Working out, meditating, yoga, reading, quiet time, right? Alone, just not being around people, not answering your phone, not looking at social media. Those are things that help me continue to be able to have the energy it takes to do what I do, right? I'm either a founder or part owner of over 7 different companies. And so it's one of those things that, being a big student is always massive. Again, reinvesting in education. I've gone to Tony Robbins twice. I went to him twice in 2018. I went and paid to spend private time, and I guess that sounds bad, but to get some one-on-one coaching from Gary Vee, right? I've been, surrounding myself with people that are always bigger and better and have the right mindset. And so again, being a big student, continuing to not be closed-minded, continuing to know I can be better. And a lot of that, there's a lot of great mindset books, right? And it's just, in documentaries now, I just watched an incredible documentary called Heal on Netflix. It's all about your mind body ability and how powerful your mind really is. I mean, you can literally get rid of stage 5 cancer if you utilize your mind right.
Isn't that crazy actually?
Yeah, it's a great documentary called Heal
Yeah.
on Netflix. So all that kind of stuff, I digest it. And then I also give myself time to digest it, right? So I take it in. Now I actually like think about that. And then I'm naturally competitive. I always wonder, why are people further along than I'm at my age? What do I need to be doing? Right. And then filling your tank first, having time for yourself, I think is more powerful than people give it credit for. Right. And those are whatever that is. I mean, planting, gardening, right? Like cooking, reading, meditating, yoga, all that stuff is really keeps you moving forward.
Yeah, that's some great advice, guys. If you're listening to this, books, working out, meditation, investing in yourself, your surroundings, really important. Being open-minded, always be learning. Some good keys right there. What do you think about like having a partner? Like, did you guys kept yourself accountable?
Yeah, I think partnerships are funny. That's another funny topic. The reason being is a lot of people partner because they're scared to do it alone. And that's not the right reason to partner. The right reason to partner would be simply, or I don't want to say the right reason, but something that would make at least more logical sense is this guy has this set of skills, and that could be organizational, spreadsheet, accountability, math, management, COO type. This person is creative, the driver, the visionary, the rainmaker. But this person likely can't do what this person can because the skill sets are different. That is a better reason to partner than I'm kind of just scared to go out there on my own. Another reason why people partner is, oh, well, he has money, and so let's partner and we'll split everything. We'll use your money. You can go, there's a lot of money out there. I've had marketing partners in the past where, someone said, hey, I got a bunch of money. What should I do with it? And I said, well, I might need some money to spend on marketing for a business loan. Would you be willing to? And then any deals that get done, I give you a percentage of that, right? It was just a loan for my business. There's a lot of money out there if you ask, if you know what you're looking for. And so those are the wrong reasons to partner. The right reasons primarily are you find someone that has a different skill set than you that betters you. Usually this is like a visionary will find an operator, right?
Yeah.
A COO type, because they have all the vision, creative, and the drive. COO may have the drive and some of those things, but they really also have the organization, the systemization, the structure to be able to take it in.
So not necessarily just partnering with a friend. And like, how would you say like you would find those people? Let's say that you know a little bit of your own strengths, you're good at this and this, but how would you look for someone that has the exact opposite quality that you don't have.
Yeah. And that's why I don't love partners, because you can hire that person. I would rather someone go out and hire a COO than go try to partner with them.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't suggest necessarily people going out and just partnering with a friend. I just don't think that that's the right move. Partly because it breaks up the friendship. Because it is way more, and I couldn't give you a percentage, but drastically more partnerships fail than succeed. It's a marriage.
True.
And so just like any relationship, you're in it. And then when money gets good, it's all good. But then when money gets tough, things start to change a little bit. So I'd highly recommend, don't partner, actually hire those roles.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I always say that when you put someone in boiling water, not literally, but in a tough situation, that's when you see the real character.
Yep,
Yeah,
100%.
so true. And you touched a little bit about marketing, and you said you were doing a lot of cold call,
Yeah.
which is your trench. What other marketing are you using?
So we do 6 different strategies: PPC, cold calling, direct mail, bandit signs, driving for dollars, and voicemail drops. The one that always gets left out is the networking. That is a great way to get your bottom line up, meaning it's a free deal. Someone brought you the deal, you brought the buyer, maybe you brought the buyer, or you brought the deal, they brought the buyer, whatever. Networking is a massive influx in our bottom line. I mean, we don't do 10 deals a month through networking, but we can do a couple.
Yeah.
Right?
So you're using pretty much like any feasible way to market.
Absolutely.
And like, if it, how much would be your marketing budget every month, just to to have an idea that if you want to do 10,
my marketing budget,
yeah,
upwards of $40,000
a month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just to,
and so, but that's why it's,
yeah,
I don't always like saying that, because there's a lot, the majority of the people that are probably listening to this are like, I make that in a given year, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere. So it's a lot easier for me to say, you have to trust that marketing works. That's all I talk about. For those of you that follow me on Instagram or Facebook, all I talk about is marketing, 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 because marketing works. And the old school still works. The door knocking still works. The cold calling still works. So those of you that don't have the money, they don't have the budget I have, you need to be doing what takes your time. You're going to spend something. You're going to spend time. You're going to spend money. You might even spend both. But if you don't have the money, you got to spend your time. So you got to cold call. You got to door knock. You got to do, voicemail drops, the cheaper things, right? Bandit signs, direct mail, PPC, they can get more expensive because you're buying something.
Yeah. PPC, which, guys at home, if you don't know, it's pay-per-click on Google, just to be sure. But yeah, I think you're totally right about this, that not everything costs a lot of money. Like driving for $1, knocking on doors, making cold calls doesn't cost a lot of money.
Totally.
So I would start with that first. Great point. And where do you say you're going? Like, where are you going next? Like, to the point that you are right now, what would be the next step for you?
I have a couple of different ventures that I'm looking at. I love what we're doing right now with the real estate space. San Antonio is now becoming much more profitable. Phoenix is now the bottom line in Phoenix. I'm really kind of whittling the bottom line, because it's great to make a bunch of money, top line revenue, but if you don't get to keep it, then what's the point, right? So I really like where I'm at with that space. I'm a part owner of a title company. I have an Amazon business. I have a bunch of different stuff that I'm going to remove and add to. So, my big thing is to be more efficient with what we do. I think efficiency and focus, extreme focus, is going to be big for me for 2019. And then there's a couple opportunities that I think I'm going to look at to continue to grow and do more and create more. I'm big on creating. So we'll see where those lead.
So extreme focus, meaning that you would be like really clear on what you want and focus on only like a couple of things?
Correct. Like focus on Phoenix, focus on San Antonio, focus on coaching. I do take on one-on-one clients. And so focus on the handful of clients that I do have and take on, and, just create that life that is that I want versus then that I have to or forced to.
Yeah. You you feel like cuz flipping and wholesaling is pretty much like always like running after a deal, always looking for a deal. You feel like you're always running, always to have to push to find a deal? And would you like put your money
Yeah,
into
well, if you focus on
multi-units?
marketing, I mean, that's all you have to do. Just focus on marketing. And that could be cold calling every day or driving for dollars every single day. So if you just put your focus on marketing, you will win unless you quit. So I would tell you, that's the only reason why people don't win is they quit. Oh, this direct mail thing doesn't work, or this PPC doesn't work, or this cold calling doesn't work, or whatever. They all work. I do them all. Right. And so, um, yeah, it's marketing and sales. The business isn't flipping. The business is marketing and sales. And so
Totally
for
agree.
those of you that want a marketing degree, this is the business you want to be in because that's what we do. So, um, I don't look at it as always trying to fight for another deal. I look at it as how do I get my marketing better? That's how I look at it.
Good point. Yeah, really good point. I totally see. And why I know you have a really good podcast, but people might not know. So where can like people that might listen to this can find you?
Yeah, the Science of Flipping is the podcast on iTunes. I have a lot. You can just find me at thescienceofflipping.com. What I would tell you is this: anyone that's listening to this, go follow me on social media. The Justin Colby on Instagram, the Justin Colby on Facebook. I give away a incredible amount of knowledge. I give away content every day. Every day I'm doing lives to share with you guys what maybe happened yesterday with the team, or maybe if I was involved in something. And so follow me on Instagram and Facebook, the Justin Colby. It will help you get a bunch of free content that you don't have to pay for, and see what I'm up to and doing.
Absolutely. I think you're so right about this. I've been following you and Sean Terry for for quite a time, and
Yep.
you guys, you give absolute absolutely amazing tips and literally like everything you need to know from A to Z.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for sharing. Keep going, and all the Facebook Live also that you're doing, like before appointment or on a certain subject, and also the podcast, which is really really good, guys. Justin Colby's crushing it. If you want to really know how it works, follow this guy.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.